Our Republicans believe the hundreds of text messages between a demoted special counsel investigator and a senior FBI lawyer are evidence of anti-Trump bias in the special counsel investigation. But Democrats want to know why only a fraction of the reportedly 10,000 texts were released.
When you look at the context of the allegations that the DOJ Inspector General is investigating, they were very selective in what they released. There were multiple reports last year that the FBI was heavily predisposed against Hillary Clinton and in favor of Donald Trump. If there are text messages that run in the other direction, why have they not also been released?
Let's bring in Deputy Managing Editor for the Weekly Standard, Kelly Jane Torrance, and Politico's Josh Gerstein. Thank you both for coming in tonight.
Thank you.
Sure.
Well, there's plenty going on in this story. I hardly even know where to start because we have the text messages, we have the ones that were released, maybe thousands we'll never see. We have this FBI letter coming in tonight from Senator Johnson that seems to outline ways that the original draft statement about Hillary Clinton was edited and changed in a way that was, you know, Josh, a lot of people would argue very favorable to her.
Right. I mean, the other thing I think the FBI was trying to do when they changed that statement as time went on was try to explain what they were doing to the American people. I think they had decided as far back as May that there were not going to be any charges in this investigation. And to make a really tough statement and then not file charges was going to put them in a very awkward position. And so you saw people like Peter Strzok and probably others trying to water down the statement. It may have not been for purely political reasons. It may have been simply so that they didn't look like fools in, you know, denouncing some outrageous activity and then saying, by the way, we're not going to bring any charges.
So when we get this draft letter today, though, that seems to walk through taking out specific language, grossly negligent, reducing some of the impact of what the intel community had said about potentially bad actors accessing her private server. And then we have these tweets from former FBI Director James Comey where he's talking about he can't wait for the truth to come out. How do you think he's feeling about the release of this document?
I mean, he knows what happened, or at least he should know. I mean, obviously this was sent to subordinates for their comment, but obviously he's ultimately responsible. And I have to say the letter, I mean, it's a very well-prepared, well-reasoned query about these things, and taken together, it seems pretty like a searing indictment to me of how the Bureau handled this. And, you know, I could see them saying, well, when we started drafting the letter, we had certain information, but then we got more that changed, so we had to change the letter. But if you look at a lot of the things that were changed, to give one example, it talked about the sheer volume of information that was classified secret on Hillary Clinton's email server. Well, the draft ended up getting changed to just there was some stuff that was classified secret. Now, it seems unlikely that they discovered that there was less stuff classified secret than they thought at the beginning. So I think they're going to have a hard time answering some of these questions. And, you know, perhaps Mr. Comey might think about a serious response rather than trying to beat Trump at the Twitter game.
He spent some time on Capitol Hill. Either of you think he heads there again or is requested to return to the Hill over this letter? Or the investigation?
I mean, I think there'll be some requests, but I think we're looking at a period of 3 to 4 months before this Inspector General review comes out. And you're going to continue to have requests both like this letter and like Adam Schiff's comments that where are the rest of these text messages? We're going to see a drumbeat of requests. And now the Justice Department has put them in a position, themselves in a position where they may have to respond and put out dribs and drabs of information all in advance of any formal conclusion about whether anybody did something wrong. So it could be a very interesting and prolonged 3 to 4 month wait for this report.
We've also got to wait now on this tax bill that we were just talking about, whether that gets done. We've seen the dates move and move a little bit. I mean, the administration seems very determined to get this done by the end of the year. Do they, now that they have a couple of these GOP stragglers? And honestly, the health of a couple GOP senators in question about whether they'll be here and able to vote.
Of course. Yeah, no, that's something that, you know, you can't force someone to get better. But I have to say, I think, you know, people like Marco Rubio are doing a bit of grandstanding, you know. GOP senators already knew that each one of them individually had a fair amount of leverage given how tiny that minority is. Well, given now that it looks like that minority is going to be even smaller starting at least in January, if not a bit sooner, I think each one's realizing, hey, I have even more leverage now. I'm going to see what I can get out of this. And, you know, with Marco Rubio, that child tax credit, it already was made more generous than the House version. And, you know, he got some part of what he wanted. So I think it's a little bit of game playing and making a bigger name for himself even with this right now.
It sounds like our senior reporter or producer on the Hill, Chad Pergram, is saying that things did, quote, move in Rubio's direction as they close this down tonight. Josh, did they get it done before Christmas or by year's end?
I think they will get it done, and I think what you're seeing also from Rubio and other senators that are putting on pressure to try to alter this at the last minute is them trying to manage potential downside from this bill. If people are going to say, well, it's too much of a giveaway to the rich, if they were in there at the last minute saying, can we sweeten this more for the middle class, for the lower middle class, for lower income workers, they can say we put up a good fight, we got some improvements, and therefore don't blame me if you don't like every aspect of this bill.
All right. Well, Josh Gerstein and Kelly Jane Torrance, great to see you both.
Good to see
and
you.
we'll all stand by. Who knows? Maybe we'll be doing this for Christmas. All right. Well, today on